Lights rise on a modern coffee shop. The front door is off stage left. Stage right, there is an opening in the wall with a bathroom sign above it. The sign is written in many languages, some ancient and no longer used. Up center is the bar, with a few stools in front of it and a lot of coffee equipment on and behind it. The rest of the stage is scattered, with regular and high-top tables distributed randomly and a few couches. Behind the bar stands Allison, the lone worker of the shop. She is a young, modern-looking woman. Downstage right sits Mel Morton, dressed in Elizabethan-era garb, and works with a quill pen in hand and sips from a small cup.
I think I've almost cracked it. He's sure to love it. I mean, who wouldn't? It's my masterpiece. I don't think I've ever written anything better. The prose just sprung from my quill, as though they were a gift from the Creator. I've never had to work less to get the iambic pentameter so correct. It's just, it's trash. He's gonna see right through the phony third act, and he'll know I had no idea how to connect the stories. What am I thinking? You know, I've written so many better plays. Okay. Take it easy. He's not here yet. I can just pitch one of my old plays. But what if he's seen it? Well, it'd be a great honor to know that the man himself has seen one of my plays, as unlikely as that would be. It'd still be a great honor. But he's never seen any of my work. No one has. People bought tickets, still haven't seen any of my plays. Well, Mom and Papa haven't seen any of my plays. I mean, they're dead, but it still hurts.
Excuse me, sir?
Excuse me, excuse you. I was in the middle of a soliloquy.
That's the problem.
You have a problem with people having soliloquies? Have you never read the greats? All of them have soliloquies. Some even have soliloquies on top of soliloquies. It's ridiculous and hard to follow.
I'm sure it is.
What's wrong with you and your hate for a good soliloquy?
Nothing's wrong with me. I was just hoping you could keep your thoughts a little more internal and less external. You're disturbing the other customers.
What other customers? I'm the only one here.
Well, you got me there. You're just bothering me, and I'd appreciate it if you'd keep your self-loathing as an inner monologue from now on.
I am not self-loathing. I am just a bit nervous. I meet a very important man, and this meeting could be very big for my career. If I impress him, I could be doing my next play on the big stage.
Yeah? What stage is that?
The Globe Theater. The big time. You get your show performed at the Globe, and it's a one-way ticket to an audience with the big honcho herself, the Queen.
Wow. So, who's the big wig you're waiting on?
Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare?
No, Freddie Shakespeare. Of course, William Shakespeare, the greatest playwright known to man.
What about Arthur Miller?
Who?
He wrote The Death of a Salesman?
Never heard of it. Terrible name for a play. Now, Taming of the Shrew. There's a title you remember. Hits you right here. Because we've all dealt with a shrew that wish we could tame. Salesmen die every day, who cares? Boring and depressing. And if you depress your audience, you're never going to get any repeat business. And if you put it right up in front of your title, Death of a Salesman, you're going to make audience flee before you even start Act 1, Scene 1.
It's considered one of the greatest plays of the 20th century.
20th century, my dear. It's a 16th century or 4 centuries off.
It appears I am.
Now, please, may I have another double espresso, light whip with a little cinnamon.
You got it.
Love this stuff. Don't know what I'd do without it. I don't understand how people lived before espresso.
Allison begins to prepare the drink as the front door opens and Beverly Crane enters. She is a young woman in Civil War-era civilian attire. She approaches the bar.
Excuse me, miss.
1 minute.
I'm just wondering if my boyfriend has come in yet. I'm supposed to meet him here.
The only person here is the guy in the pantaloons. And I don't think that's who you're looking for.
No, of course not. Why on earth would someone be wearing pantaloons? unless they're an actor, which my boyfriend is. A rather famous one, in fact, but he's currently not doing anything Shakespearean that I know of.
Shakespeare? Did I hear Shakespeare? Did she say Shakespeare? He's not coming, is he? I knew it. It's too good to be true that Melvin Morton, would really have a meeting with the great William Shakespeare. What are you, his secretary or something?
No, not anyone's secretary.
Here's your drink, sir. That'll be $3.25.
Thank you. Put it on my tab.
You don't have a tab.
Tell me, what do you know about this Shakespeare?
Oh, greatest playwright of the 16th and early 17th centuries. Wrote 38 plays and left his wife his second best bed, whatever that means.
What do you mean, 16th and 17th centuries?
Well, he wrote plays up until the early 17th century when he died.
He's dead? When did that happen?
April of 1616.
Well, that explains why he hasn't arrived yet.
Are you going to pay for that drink?
Tell me, miss, have you ever heard of the great playwright Mel Morton?
No, never. And I'm an actress.
You can't be an actress.
Why not?
Well, you're a woman. Women aren't allowed on the stage.
Women act in all sorts of plays nowadays. Even Shakespeare. My last role was as Juliet in a very risque adaptation of Romeo and Juliet.
What was so risque about it?
Well, Juliet was a Southern belle, and Romeo was a Northern cavalryman, and their love was forbidden by Juliet's plantation-owning father and Romeo's captain.
I see. Sounds interesting.
Well, did I mention that Romeo was black? Or at least he was made to look black.
Black, white, who cares? You've never heard of Mel Morton.
Nope, can't say that I have.
You've never heard of Cat on a Hot Clay Roof? Or a piccolo player on the roof? Or a roof over the river Thames?
I'm sensing a theme here.
Well, I do more than roof plays, but the first one was such a hit I just went for it.
How'd that turn out for you?
Not well. Critics hated them all. The audience dwindled. I haven't had a play perform decently in a while, but with this meeting with Shakespeare, I was supposed to change all that.
Well, I've never heard of any of them, and I'm pretty well versed in plays, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, well, how many plays have you read?
Like 50, and that's the vast majority of plays in the world.
Want anything to drink?
I'll have a mocha latte, light foam, with a shot of espresso.
On it.
I'm just so devastated. I don't believe this.
What?
I ordered this drink with a little cinnamon. I don't think there's any in here. What, you say you're an actress?
Yes, I think I'm a rather good one, too. And soon I'm going to do a role that's going to make me a star.
And what role is that?
I don't know. It probably hasn't been written yet. But until that is, I'll keep doing the roles I'm offered and showing off to my talent to as many people as I can.
Are you in any shows now?
Well, I have a small but meaty role in the play Our American Cousin over at the Ford Theater playing Mrs. Mount Chessington. It's even so popular that President Abraham Lincoln is coming to tonight's show. And once he sees me, I'm going to be joining the president's private theater company, performing at special events for dignitaries and rulers of nations.
I don't think the president has a private theater company.
Of course it is. It's just a secret. You'd know and all that.
Of course.
Now, a president is that anything like a queen?
Probably, but on a much larger scale.
Well, that's good for you. I never had an audience with the queen. I was hoping to with my play, Back to the Past, but it never took off. Nothing ever takes off.
Here you go. That'll be $4.15.
I mean, who just doesn't want to see a play about a young nobleman who gets on a horse that has been turned into a time-traveling steed? And he ends up going into the past where he gets hit on by his mother and has to try and bring his parents together so he can exist in the future. It was the perfect tragedy.
So tell me, does John come in here often?
John who?
John who?
John Wilkes Booth?
So you have heard of him. Oh, does he come in here often?
Never when I've been working.
He told me specifically he wanted to meet me here today before I go to the theater.
How long have you been dating John Wilkes Booth?
Oh, only a little while, but it's love. He's so funny. In fact, he keeps doing this reoccurring character where he plays a Confederate spy plotting to overthrow the North. He loves gathering with some of his friends and doing it for them.
Really?
Yeah, at first, I didn't think he liked me. But I guess he was just nervous about how strong our attraction was to each other. But once he found out I got cast in Our American Cousin and that President Lincoln might be coming to the performance, he got up the nerve to ask me out. We've basically been inseparable ever since. Well, except for when he's doing his private performances for his friends.
Did he say when he wanted to meet you here today?
I don't know. But I'm hoping I can talk him into coming to see the show tonight, because he hasn't. I'm not crushed or anything, but I'd really like to get his opinion of my performance. We're sold out because of the president and all, but I thought maybe I could sneak him in so he could watch me perform.
Something tells me he's going to accept your offer.
You think so? Because sometimes he gets kind of distant and forgets my name. It's cute, but it hurts.
Listen, I think maybe you need to end things with this guy.
But he's my soulmate, I know it.
I think he's trying to use you.
No, never. He loves me. Because he said that if I ever left him or told the government about what he was doing, that I'd be sorry.
What is he doing?
Well, working on a new play about the war, that's all.
I worked on new plays, never about war. War doesn't appeal to the groundlings.
The whatlings?
The groundlings, you know, the poor people who sit at the edge of the stage and heckle the performance.
Oh, we don't have that. Everyone has a seat in our theaters.
Everyone? That's amazing. I've seen hundreds of plays and I've never got to sit during any of them. Not even my own.
The door opens and Hans Roth enters, dressed in World War II Third Reich garb. He is a lieutenant colonel. He quickly steps to the counter.
Coffee, black, quick.
Got it.
She sets down a cup and pours from the pot. Hans grabs the cup and takes a long drink. A moment after he begins, he stops and spits out the coffee.
It's hot.
It's coffee. It's supposed to be hot.
Tempered. Coffee should be tempered. Warm, but not hot. This is hot. I demand you provide me with a cup of tempered coffee.
All right, I'll see what I can do. Just don't smash anything else.
I cannot promise this. I demand perfection. It's something. If something is not perfect, it should be destroyed. That coffee was not perfect, therefore it was destroyed.
So how are you doing on this fine day?
I'm not doing fine. I am burnt from the hot coffee.
No, I mean the day is fine.
Why? I've scolded my tongue. On the day I'm supposed to meet a very important man. I would not call that fine. I would call that a tragedy.
Did someone die?
No, no one has died.
Well, then
Yes.
it's not a tragedy. Tragedies require death.
Ik zou zich der wien est wijn a tragedy est. Doe maar Englander.
What did he say? Should I be insulted?
Ja.
Listen, I'm sure whoever you're meeting will understand.
This is my one chance to impress him. If I can do that, I can really start to move up in my career.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Once Shakespeare gets here, I'll blow him away with my new play, and then it'll be on Easy Street.
I am unaware of this street. Why can't you go there now? Why does it require an escort to get there?
Well, you can't just go there. It's not a real place. It's a figure of speech.
Ah, I hate figures of speech.
Who's you're meeting with?
Joseph Goebbels.
Joseph Goebbels is coming here?
Yeah, he said to meet him here at 3 p.m. exactly.
It's only a little after 1.
I know what time it is, but I figured it is better to be early than late.
2 hours early?
He is a very important man. To him, 3 p.m. might mean 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. to you or me. Oh no. Have I missed him? Has he been here already?
I haven't seen anyone here other than her.
It's Beverly.
Other than Beverly, it's just been me since. I don't really remember when I got home. I didn't get a good look at the sun when I came in.
Wait, why the sun?
How else are you supposed to tell what time it is on the go?
With a watch? They're all the rage.
They are quite nice.
Here's your tempered coffee.
That's amazing. I've never seen anything like this. There's only 12 hours in a day.
Ferencvágzig.
I don't know what that means.
It's German for 24.
You speak German? Watch is a watch, I guess.
She might not speak German, but it's not hard to tell time. Where are you from, anyways?
I am originally from Exeter, but I couldn't get a play produced, let alone getting noticed there. So I moved to London, where I finished school. That was when I was about 12.
We don't need your autobiography, Mr. Talk Talk.
Is that more German?
No, that was English.
Didn't sound like in English. I know. I've been speaking it fluently my whole life.
You know, I've been in Shakespearean plays, and you don't talk like they do in them.
Like what?
Yeah, why don't you speak in that embryonic platypus?
I still got nothing from this one.
You know, in rhyming prose.
Oh, iambic pentameter.
That's what I said.
No, it's not. Wait, so you think people talk like that on a daily basis?
Well, yeah, if they didn't, why are all the plays written that way?
Well, first off, they're not. Some are written in prose,
Prose?
common speak. Do you know how hard it is and how hard it would be to rhyme all day, every day? Not to mention rhyme with a beat progression. It would be insanity. No one would get anything done. You want to buy some bread, but now you got to think of some that rhymes with bread. But then you have to add another line because you can't have the rhyme on the next line. It would be infuriating.
Then why write that way?
Because it's poetic, romantic. As an unperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put besides his part, or some fierce thing replaced with too much rage, whose strength's abundance weakens his own heart. So I, for fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in mine own love's strength seem to decay, or ere charged with burden of mine own love's might. Oh, let my books be then eloquent and dumb presagers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense. More than that tongue that more hath, more express, oh, learn to read what silent love hath writ. To hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit.
Did you write that?
No, it's Shakespeare. But it's good, isn't it?
It's not bad, but it's not as good as Mein Führer's poetry. That's beautiful and romantic. That's how I got my Mildred to go with me. Ah, she got weak in the knees. I knew it was love.
John used Shakespeare to woo me, and now I miss forever and ever. My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. That was from Romeo and Juliet.
I know.
Don't waste your love on someone who doesn't value it. Also, Romeo and Juliet.
Have you married this John?
Not yet. I'm hoping after he sees me perform tonight, he'll ask me to be his wife.
Or burned to death in a barn.
What?
Nothing.
Love is a great thing. You know, I got married before I moved to London.
When you were 12?
Sue me, I was a late bloomer. But I met my Gertrude and fell madly for her.
Does she live with you in London?
No, it's magic. We write letters, tell each other how we're doing, and every few years I go back and visit her, if I remember. I stayed long enough for her to get pregnant, and it's back to work in London. I know, some people say I spoil her, but it's worth it for the woman you love.
When John and I get married, it'll be a spring wedding. And then we'll live together somewhere quiet, but where we can both still work and raise our family.
Keep dreaming.
What?
Can I get anyone a refill?
Nein, ich bin gut.
I'm fine.
If I drink too much coffee, I'll be up half the night.
What's comedy?
What do you mean, what's comedy?
Well, earlier you said tragedy was when someone dies. So what's comedy?
When someone gets married.
Oh, so me and John are a comedy.
Yeah, right.
What?
Est-ce que tu parles français?
No.
Shame. It's a beautiful language.
I wish Mr. Goebbels would get here soon. I'd like to get this meeting over with.
What's your meeting about?
I want a promotion. My father knows Mr. Goebbels. They were very good friends. Calls him Joey, in fact. They met when they were both schoolboys in short pants and studied lepidoptery together.
Watery?
Lepidoptery. It's the study of butterflies. He used his connections to set up this meeting for me. And if I do good, I can move up in the Third Reich. Then, when the war is over and the world is under the Fuhrer's iron grip, I can be very comfortable. Maybe I'll be put in charge of France. That'd be nice. Or Switzerland. I love to yodel.
Hey, that's great, really.
Yeah, I always wanted to go to Switzerland when the war is over.
Or you could live in Argentina.
Excuse me?
Just cleaning.
Ach, Margarita. It'll be so nice to know I'm set once those pesky Americans, Russians, and English are dealt with.
English. Like me English.
Oh yeah, but I'm sure you won't be affected by it. It'll be very nice and peaceful rule by the Fuhrer.
Oh, as long as it doesn't affect me. Does the Sphere like plays?
Oh yeah, he loves them, especially those that say he's great and everyone else is stupid. Do you have any like that?
I can write one. I'll be a hit with the Führer, whoever that is.
John Wilkes is going to become a great actor, and he'll be so famous that wars won't affect him as much. Though the one that just ended affected him a lot. I really wish there was something I could do to help him.
John Wilkes Booth?
You've heard of him!
Yeah, he shot the President of the United States.
No, he didn't.
I learned about it in world history. He shot Abraham Lincoln at Ford Theater during the play.
What play?
Who remembers? Once the Führer takes over, it will all be meaningless.
No, it's very important to me. When did this happen?
April 14th, 1865.
That's today!
No, it's June 18th, 1941.
Oh, that's not right. It's May 1597.
The door suddenly swings open, and Quinn Morgan enters. She is dressed in futuristic war garb. It's bulky with shoulder pads and is very, very shiny. She has a device over her left eye.
No, it's January 8th, 2234.
That's a new one.
Who the hell is that?
What the hell is that?
Has the Grand Admiral arrived yet?
No Grand Admirals here.
He must be running late. Hopefully the Galactic President hasn't found out about these. That'd be devastating.
Rebellion! Oh, yes. Are you with the North or the South?
And what is this north and south?
Rick Tuggen.
Their directions. I got that one through context.
We do not fight for directions. We fight against tyranny and injustice through the universe.
That's what my Führer is fighting for.
Fear? No fear.
Listen, I don't know what you... Well,
I think what he's trying to say, it's a nice coffee shop and we don't need any fighting here.
I must help free the universe, and that fight will happen anywhere and everywhere, including this coffee shop.
Well, your Grand Admiral isn't here right now, and no one here works for the Galactic President either.
Okay, I'll wait. Can I have a chai tea, please, with a hint of honey?
That was weird.
Everything's weird around here.
Can we get back to what's important? Does my John kill the president tonight or not?
Yes!
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Who's getting killed?
Abraham Lincoln by John Wilkes Booth.
Yes, that did indeed happen.
But why would he do that?
Simple. Because he's got a bad review to one of his shows from the president, and that denied him entry into the president's secret theater troupe.
No, it was because he wanted to avenge the South's loss in the Civil War.
Quinn touches the device over her eye.
I'm reading that it was because Booth had a terrible fear of men who wore stovepipe hats and wanted to destroy their spokesperson.
And what's that thing over your eye?
It's my infostatic iDrive. It feeds me information from the galactic internet that I request through my thoughts. It's quite useful in social situations.
It looks ridiculous.
Not about fashion, it's about usefulness. And with it, I now know everything there is to know about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln by John Wilkes Booth.
I know in my heart of hearts that history is wrong and they couldn't have done what they say he did.
History isn't wrong. It's history, these things are fact-checked to make sure they're accurate. If history says he's going to kill Abraham Lincoln, then it's probably true.
It is true. History is always correct. I mean, if I were to ask how amazing mein Führer Adolf Hitler is viewed in the future, they will say he's a great, kind, and generous man who loves everyone and is the protector of the people.
No, he's remembered as one of history's great villains who killed tens of millions and started one of the worst wars old Earth ever had.
Nine. That is incorrect. He is a visionary and a great leader.
She's right, well, about some of it. Hitler was a monster who wanted to take over the world
For its own safety.
and wanted all the Jews killed.
Jews. He wanted all the Jews killed.
Juice. How do you kill juice?
He set up concentration camps for them.
You have it wrong. He set up a place for people to bring their concentrated juice for destruction. Anyways, he's not the only person with concentration camps.
I can only find information on his camps, and this iDrive is pretty accurate.
This is wrong. You have bad information. Hitler was a poet who loved singing to the little birds and playing fetch with his puppies and giving candy to children.
Did he use a white windowless van for the candy?
Yeah, it's a candy bus. And all the children in Berlin run up to it and get some candy and tell old Uncle Adolf about all the people who are trying to conspire against him. Then the black vans would roll up and collect all the people who the children mentioned and take them to a new home.
So he relocated people.
Yeah, he loves giving people new homes to show how nice he is.
Yeah, at the bottom of a pit after a nice shower.
He's all about cleanliness. And the pits are very dark and cool. People like being cool and hanging in the dark. Hitler's a very nice man. Excuse me, I need to pee now.
Well, he's a high-strung man.
He believes in evil, and being shown for evil for what it is destroys his mind. He must come to an understanding on his own about where he is in life and what he must do to overcome it. That is why I fight for freedom in the galaxy. That's why this meeting with Grand Admiral Anthony Marie de Brune must happen. If we can't take down the galactic president, then all will be lost.
And how do you know?
Know what?
That you're on the right side of this. I mean, Bratwurst boy, he thinks he's on the right side of what he's doing. And James Williams' book thinks he's on the right side.
John Wilkes Booth.
Whatever, they think they're on the right side of history. But you've pointed out that neither are. So how do you know you're not like them?
Because I am.
Isn't that what they all say?
The galactic president must be stopped. She's taken away the rights of many people, raised the taxes that they pay, and refuses to hold a free election until 2236.
When are the next elections supposed to happen?
2236. But the people have demanded that they happen earlier. The galactic internet is abuzz with posts and videos about how we need an election sooner.
And have they followed the process to remove this person from office?
Is your John Wilkes Booth following that process?
Technically, no.
Maybe war isn't the answer, lives are being lost, and nothing is being accomplished. Maybe if we appeal to the Galactic Congress and write to our galactic senators and representatives, we can make a difference.
Are the representatives also galactic, or are they just regular representatives?
Galactic. I'm sure the Galactic House and Galactic Senate will listen to the people about what they want, and not to the people who are supplying them with all the flebnars they could ever use.
Flebnars?
Yes, it's the galactic currency. The more flebnars you have, the more power you wield, but our galactic representatives have taken a vow of poverty, though many of them do live in very nice homes on good planets in the best solar systems.
Corruption. Even in the future, we can't get away from it. Here's your tea.
That took a while.
I had to bribe the teapot, and then I had to make promises. I don't plan to keep the hot water. You want it or not?
Thank you.
That'll be $3.75, and I don't accept Flebnars.
Peace is good. I like peace.
Peace is better than war.
I mean, we can learn so much more by working together than apart.
I'm never gonna get paid.
That settles it. When the Grand Admiral arrives, I'm telling him we should set up a friendly meeting with the Galactic President and begin talks for peace and unity and camaraderie.
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen?
She can order us thrown into the slag pit for 100 cycles and then banish us to the far reaches of the black.
Is that good or bad? I can't tell. It all sounds like gibberish to me.
It's bad. From where I come from, it's worse than death itself.
I don't know. Death is pretty much the worst thing there is. I mean, once you're dead, there is no coming back from it. It's just dead. One day you're here, the next dead. I've never liked death for others, especially for me. I avoid it, and that's why I write plays. Very small chance of death.
What about paper cuts?
They are my biggest fear. Nick the wrong thing, it's all over. They'll try the leeches, but that just makes things worse. Then they'll try cutting off the affected area, but then more blood. I once saw a doctor attempt to amputate a guy's head because he said it saved the rest of him.
Did it work?
I don't know if it helped his body, but his head definitely didn't recover. His head was stone dead. That's why I don't like doctors. They're quacks, all of them. Just give me a nice bottle of Dr. Good's cure-all and I'll be fine.
What's Dr. Good's cure-all?
Whiskey. Really strong whiskey with a hint of mint.
Oh, that we have to. Very effective.
If it's called Dr. Good's cure-all, doesn't that mean it's made by a doctor?
Oh, not at all. I've met Dr. Good, and he's no doctor. He's more of a wannabe.
A wannabe doctor?
No, a wannabe rich man. He figures he can make his cure-all for next to nothing and sell it for 2 golden ear. He makes a fortune hand over fist. I wish I thought of a racket like that. But instead, I decided to follow my dreams and write plays. Well, there's no market unless your name is Marlowe or Shakespeare, and my name's Morton, and no one cares about a Morton.
Why don't you change your last name to Marlowe?
Yeah, that's the ticket. Mel Marlowe. Did you see the new Mel Marlowe play? It was great. I can't wait to see his next piece. He's so creative. Forget that Christopher guy. We got Marlowe we want. I'll be remembered forever.
Oh, I've never heard of any plays by a Mel Marlowe.
She's right. History doesn't remember that name.
I have a database of all plays that were written throughout time, and none of them are by a Mel Morton or a Mel Marlowe. I did find an amusing musical by Mel Brooks. Is he any relation to you?
No,
Then history has forgotten you.
but it can't. If history has forgotten me, what's the point of being here?
It's okay if what everyone says is true. I'll be remembered as John Wilkes Booth's girlfriend that he used to get close to Lincoln.
Actually, history just says that Booth used his fame to get into the building and shoot Lincoln. You were never mentioned.
But I'm remembered as the great actress of the time, right?
No, you're not. I figured I'd rip the adhesive medical aid off quickly.
I'm forgotten by
Yeah, join the club. try to make an impact, and then thousands of years later, no one remembers you.
Think of the impact you made on the people you know. That'll last.
Up until they also die and are forgotten about.
Well, this is the most depressing coffee shop trip I've ever had. I hope John Hope doesn't show. At least then I won't have to look at him in his stupid face, knowing what he's gonna do.
Yeah, and Shakespeare doesn't deserve to hear my pitch. It's too good for him.
What's your pitch? I want to hear it.
Really?
Yeah, I really want to hear it.
Okay, well, it's about 4 lovers who go to Enchanted Wood, and a group of actors who, for a completely different reason, also go into the Enchanted Woods, and they meet a group of fairies whose king and queen are having a marital spat. So the king decides to play the trick on the lovers by making them fall in love with the wrong person. Classic. And then the actors, by turning one of them into a donkey, then having his queen fall in love with said donkey. It's going to be funny, it's going to be romantic, and it's going to be...
Midsummer Night's Dream.
I mean, that's a good title, but that's not what I'm thinking.
No, that play is called A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's one of Shakespeare's greatest comedies. I was in a production of it in high school. I played Puck,
What the hell is a puck?
the main fairy that causes all the problems.
I was going to name it Harry the Fairy. Shakespeare stole my idea.
And improved it.
How dare he? I was going to make a fortune with that play.
Not with Harry the Fairy, you weren't.
I'm devastated. How did he get it?
Who knows?
Why did he take it?
He probably thought it had merit.
That scoundrel! I really thought he was my friend.
Wait, you know Shakespeare? Like, met him?
Of course, we're friends. We haven't really talked since he got famous, but this meeting was going to change that. And then he goes and steals my idea.
My iDrive is showing that Shakespeare never wrote any of his own plays, and he just was given credit so the 17th Earl of Oxford wouldn't get into trouble for writing them. It's also pointing out he was illiterate.
No, that's crazy. I was sitting having lunch with Shakespeare one day, and all of a sudden he jumped up and screamed, "To be or not to be, that is the question." 3 days later, Hamlet was starting its rehearsal process.
That doesn't prove anything.
Proves he came up with his own ideas, and if he's coming up with his own ideas, then he's writing the ideas.
Except for the play that he stole from you.
That rat, I'll kill him as soon as he walks through that door. He's a dead man. What do you have that I can use to kill him?
Very little.
She has hot coffee.
Great. I'll scold him with hot coffee. When he walks through the door, just hand the pot to me. I'll do the rest.
I can't allow that, because if I do, then I'm liable when he sues.
That blow dryer for your hands is so much fun. You just press the button and poof, out comes hot air. It's so nice.
In the future, we're no longer required to wash or dry our hands.
What do? Just go around with stinky hands all the time?
No, we use a paste that destroys all the bacteria, then absorbs into the hands, leaving them silky and soft.
They are soft. What amazing advances in technology we have to look forward to. Tell me, do you have flying buggies in the future?
We have hover cars for planetary use and spaceships for interstellar travel.
What's a car?
Think a horse and buggy without the horse.
That's amazing.
You should see Zafira's car. You wouldn't believe it. It's so nice, and the seats are covered in the finest Corinthian leather. Zafira spared no expense.
So if there aren't any horses, what makes the buggy go?
Back in the 21st century, it was a combustion engine. We've done away with that outdated technology and progressed to a clean and efficient antimatter generators for our power.
Okay, I get combustion, but that's what fire does. But antimatter, the future sounds weird.
It does. I'll stick to good old-fashioned horse and buggy. It just seems more civilized.
You won't be saying that when you see your first car. You and everyone else will want one. It makes life easier and allows people to travel greater distances quicker and more efficient than on a horse. It's truly a wave of the future, or past, depending on where you're standing.
I'll never live long enough. I won't see one myself.
Well,
I don't know, maybe.
I'm going to make sure I do. I'm going to break things off with John, and then I'm going to stop being an actress. I always knew joining the President's Secret Theater Troupe was a long shot. And now if he's going to die at a show I'm in, they'll never let me in. I think I'll become a novelist. I always have great ideas, and I'd love to write them down.
Don't be a writer. It's a terrible field. So much competition for little return.
I think that a good story, told the right way, can live longer than anything else. If Shakespeare did steal your play,
The scoundrel.
then isn't it better to know that your words may have lived on in the hearts and minds of others for generations to come than to have your name on it?
I'd rather have the credit, the fame, the fortune, and the legacy.
Not all great things that are remembered come with fame and fortune. Take Vincent van Gogh. He was a painter in the late 19th century. Who here has heard of him? He was an artist during Beverly's lifetime, but she doesn't know who he is because no one cared about his art until after he was dead and buried. He died penniless, believing he'd leave no legacy behind, but it turned out that he would be remembered as one of the greatest artists of his or any time.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I may have to find this Van Gogh and buy some of his art. If it's going to be as big as you say it is, get it on the ground floor, buy low, sell high, that's the ticket.
So maybe Shakespeare stealing my play is not that big of a deal?
And who knows, maybe when you meet with him, you can give him the idea of stealing it.
Why would I do that?
To ensure the idea lives on. So that's why I'm meeting with Goebbels today.
I thought that was to get a promotion.
It is. With the information I'm going to give him, he'll have to promote me, because I know it's probably a bad idea to attack Russia in the winter. I think we should rethink our attack strategy and maybe hit him in the spring with both barrels and cripple the bear once and for all.
They fight with bears?
It's a figure of speech.
Oh, it's a dumb figure if you ask me. Anyways, I thought you didn't like figures of speech.
At least mine was better than yours. I bite my thumb at you, sir.
Them fighting words!
You want to throw down English namsy-pansy?
There shall be no battle this day. We're friends. Friends do not fight.
Well, I'm not his friend. I don't even know this guy. If he were to tell me his family tree, I'd go to Germany, find his great-great-grandmother and kill her. So he'd never be born.
That's mean. My great-great-grandma was a good woman.
How would you know that?
Well, my mother was a good woman, and my nana was a good woman. And I knew my great-nana when I was a little bitty German boy. And she was so nice and gave me candies she kept in her pockets. They were so warm and squishy. And I was so happy with her. It was quite nice. So I assume her mother was also a nice woman.
He can't kill his great-great-grandmother.
Fine, he can be born. But he better not bite his thumb at me again.
It's from Romeo and Juliet.
It is? Well, he still shouldn't say it.
I just wanted to point out that my figure of speech, that your figures of speech are as weird to me as mine are to you.
Well, I think you could have made that point without making me angry.
At least I didn't threaten your family.
That's because you can't get to my family.
Oh, once we take over England, I'm sure you'll have descendants that can be found and placed in special fun zones.
Can we not threaten each other's families and just be civil?
Ich kann wen in kann.
Speak English!
I can if he can.
Well, I'm always civil. I've been civil since we got here. No matter what's happened, I'm civil. I'm great at civil.
Why are you yelling everything?
I'm not yelling. I am projecting. It's a theater thing, and you should know that.
We're not in a theater right now.
I know, but it's good practice. Warms up the voice.
I use tongue twisters. 6 sleek swans swam swiftly southward. 6 sleek swans swam swiftly southward. 6 sleek
We
swans.
get it! You know 6 swans, you can stop now.
Yeah, stop bragging about your swans.
Shake and make friends.
Why?
To finalize the fight has ended.
I thought it ended with the swan thing.
Yes, I hold no more animosity towards him.
Good, then shake.
Fine.
Good, now we're all friends.
Since we are now all friends, tell me, in the future, what happens to Zephyr? I know he is thought of as a monster, but what actually happens to him?
I don't think you want to know.
I can handle it.
Okay, he shot himself in the head.
Excuse me? I must have heard I must have heard something crazy in my ears. You said he does what?
Towards the end of the war, when the Russians begin to invade Berlin and got close to his stronghold, he shoots himself in the head.
Mein Führer, in the face of defeat, shot himself in the head? That's just disappointing.
It was a coward's death. If he were a true leader, he would have grabbed the Nero Zero Force Blaster and attempted to take as many of those Rubens with him.
Russians. We are fighting Russians. I thought you were from the future.
I am. Just in the future, all people are one nationality, the galactic people, and we have no greater discernment than that. It promotes peace and equality within all people.
So there's no group of people you hate?
No, we're all the same.
So you like the people who live on every planet?
Yes. Well, except for the Plutonians, they're dreadful people, always cold and complaining about how small their dwarf planet is. We could do with less of them.
Oh, okay. What about religion? Are there religions in the future?
Why would you ask that?
Oh, not for that reason. Some of my very good friends were Jewish.
Where?
Listen, I come from a crazy time. Things happen, I'm no longer proud of it.
No longer proud of it? Meaning there was a time when you were proud of it?
Yeah, up until about 20 minutes ago, I was very proud of my service to my country. But after finding out about Hitler shooting himself and being considered a monster, I'm a little more ashamed of what's happened.
So you're in no way ashamed of the attempted genocide of an entire people?
Oh, is that filled too? Wow, a lot to process today. Anyway, religion, what's up with it in the future?
There's only the galactic religion of the people.
Well, that sounds confusing.
So everyone has to believe in this one thing? No one believes in anything else?
Correct. Non-believers are removed from the general population and dealt with sternly.
How?
In high-gravity death camps.
That sounds oddly familiar. How does this one galactic religion work?
It started when a council of elders gathered together in an ancient temple on Mars and decided that there only needed to be one religion. That of the people discussed and what this religion would be until they all agreed.
And what did they come up with?
That the universe was created when an 8-headed dog, cat, bear belched it into creation, and each planet rides on top of an invisible turtle that slowly walks around the sun, and you must give 30% of all profits earned to the church so it may redistribute it to the people after the church takes a fair cut.
How much is that?
About 40%. They have to eat and stay clothed and have houses made of gold. The great scripture that was inspired by the llama head of the great dog, cat, bear, which spoke it in the ancient Latin that all the gathered elders could perfectly understand.
So if there is the great dog, cat, bear, why does it have a llama head?
Each head is that of a different animal that bestows its followers with different powers. I could go into more details if you like.
No, I think we're good on that front.
What about prayer? Do you have to pray to this thing?
Only to the dog head on the even days, and the gopher head on the odd days.
What about an afterlife? Is there one of those?
Yes, If you die in glorious battle in honor of the Bearhead, then you are taken to the great nothingness, where you live your life out in peaceful ignorance of the horrors that you saw in battle, and you're allowed double rations on Thursdays.
What if it's not inglorious battle?
If you die the coward's death. Then you've dishonored the skunk head, and you're taken to the great DMV of the beyond to wait for online for all eternity, listening to music versions of your favorite songs and drinking stale coffee. But the line does move once every 300 years, so that'll be nice.
Well, that all sounds ridiculous.
No, it's better than the religions of your ages.
What's wrong with Catholicism?
Or Christianity in whole?
Or no religion whatsoever. What? I didn't believe in anything before I joined the Third Reich. Oh, you're in the Third Reich and you open your mouth about subjects that apparently are touchy. How dare you have thoughts and opinions? That was all of you. That's how you look at me, like that.
So, what's wrong with our religions?
Because people waged wars because they thought their beliefs were better than somebody else's. Now we all believe in oneness and are happy with it.
Except you're trying to overthrow your galactic government by waging war. How is that different than religious war?
Because, well, it just is.
Let's face it, all religions are foolish in one way or another. And there's no proof that one is real and the other is not.
The door stage right suddenly opens. There's a brilliant white light coming in, and the sound of heavenly hosts as Asher the Younger enters. He looks like the stereotypical depiction of Jesus. Everyone but Hans stands in amazement in his presence.
Well, that's perfectly timed.
Excuse me, I'm looking for someone I'm supposed to meet here.
Who might that be?
Peter, the disciple of Christ. I'm afraid I might be running late. Have I missed him?
No, I can't say that you have.
Good. Peace be with you.
And also with you? Sorry, habit.
Would you like something to drink?
Water would be just fine.
Turns that water into wine and I am out of here.
Here you are, water, free of charge.
Thank you, but I must pay. That should cover the inconvenience I've caused you.
You've caused me no trouble.
You are kind, but it's better to give when nothing is asked than to relent when something is demanded.
I need to ask, are you him?
I am me. To whom do you think I am?
I mean, are you him?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course he wouldn't. If that's him, then that hasn't happened yet.
Right. Have you ever turned water into wine in your lifetime?
That is a strange question. Why would you think that I perform miracles?
Because it's written in a book that you did.
It is. That is a curious thing. Who wrote this book?
Well, if you break it down to its core, you, I guess? Or your father, or maybe it was the spirit.
That would make sense, as my father is no longer with us.
I still think it was the great dog cat bear Slama head that inspired it.
Quiet, you were in the actual presence of the Nazarene.
How did you know I'm from Nazareth?
Again, there's a very old book that talks about you and what you did.
I have done nothing worthy of writing. The one I follow, he is worthy of writing, but not me.
He is so modest.
Yes, you are the Son of God, and that would be something.
We are all the sons and daughters of God.
Yeah, but not like that, not like you.
I don't follow.
What he means is that you're literally the Son of God, that an angel came down before your mother and told her she was going to be pregnant with you, even though she was a virgin.
You are mistaken.
You mean that didn't happen?
Yeah, it did happen.
Then it is all a lie. I bet you never did any miracles.
Me personally, no. But
Then the whole book is full of lies and mistruths. You were just some guy and got this whole Son of God thing pinned on you.
I think you are all confused.
No. If you never did any of the things that the Bible says you did, then it would change everything I believe in.
Not me.
With your false truths, you have upset the snake lion head.
You don't understand. You're all making a terrible... Snake lion head?
It's a long story.
Anyways, I'm not who you think I am.
Of course you are. You look just like the pictures and the stained glass windows. Well, before Hitler had them destroyed.
Which ones? The pictures or the windows?
Both. We called it the celebration of Smash Fire. Oh, it was a lot of fun.
I'm not the Nazarene. I'm just a Nazarene.
You mean you're not Jesus Christ, the Son of God, born of a virgin?
On Christmas Eve.
No. That's a crock of bull, Dookie.
He was obviously born.
But not in December.
Like the exact date matters. It's the meaning of the date that's important.
Yeah, ask that to Hitler. You miss his birthday, he gets very upset. The leader of Poland once forgot to get Hitler a present, and then the next day, Germany invaded Poland.
Yikes.
If you're not Jesus, then who are you?
I am Asher. I am a follower of the Son of God, the Christ Jesus.
So wait, are you one of his disciples? 'Cause I thought there were only 12, and I don't remember one being named Asher.
Like you could name all the disciples.
Well, there's Peter, Mark, Luke, Matthew, John, Simon, Dancer, Prancer, Comet, Cupid, Dunbar, and Blixen.
Now you're just naming Santa's reindeer.
Okay, so I can't name them all. But I know there's not one named Asher.
She's right. I'm just a follower of Christ. I'm hoping that once I have a meeting with Peter, I will be able to become the 13th disciple.
You know what happens to the disciples, don't you?
Well, they will help Jesus spread his word to all people. They will be accepted by all because the truth is always the easiest thing to accept. They will watch Jesus' word spread far and wide for years to come as each nation and culture across the lands accepts Jesus into their hearts. Then, when the time comes and their journey is over, they'll be spared the pains of death and lifted into the heavens like the prophet Elijah before them.
Yeah, sure. That's what's going to happen. Right on the money.
How did you miss Judas?
I just did, okay? It was a lot of pressure. I don't think anyone can name all 12 disciples.
Peter, Matthew, Bartholomew, Thomas, Philip, John, Andrew, Judas, James the Greater, Simon, James the Lesser, and Thaddeus.
She's right.
Show off.
Let's pretend that you think that what you think is going to happen to the disciples, let's say it didn't happen. Would you still want to be one?
Of course. Becoming a disciple of Jesus is the greatest goal I could attain, regardless of the outcome. Spreading his word is more important than whatever may happen to me.
Even if that outcome is being crucified upside down?
That would be a painful way to die. But no, that knowledge would not deter me.
That's what I sounded like when I got here?
Yeah, kinda.
Ik verstaat.
What if you found out that it was all a lie and the real truth was that there was an 8-headed dog, cat, bear that controlled everything with their 8 heads? Those being of a dog, a llama, a lion snake, a bear, a gopher, a skunk, a chicken.
A cat,
and
we get it.
No, the final head is that of a mongoose.
Wait, the cat bear doesn't have the head of a cat? That's ridiculous.
Well, it has a lion head, and that's a cat?
No, she said lion snake head. I've heard it twice now. I don't think that makes it a cat, though. I guess it depends on if it's more serpent or feline.
Regardless, would this truth break your faith and make you realize you follow a false idea?
No, not even a little.
Why not? This was figured out by the wisest elders in the galaxy.
If you're asking me which is more believable, the Son of God, whom I've witnessed firsthand turn water into wine, raise the dead, and cure the terminally ill, or your weird crime against nature, then I have to believe Jesus.
But the dog, cat, bear makes perfect sense.
I understand that as time goes on, it becomes harder and harder to believe in what has come before. They're just stories filled with amazing things like all stories are, and it becomes difficult to tell one from the other. I have the advantage in this situation that I have stood in a crowd of 5,000 people as Jesus prayed over a small portion of bread and fish and broke them to feed everyone there. And believe me, it was more than just crumbs and scales. Time moves forward, pushing the past farther and farther away. Faith is the knowledge of what has happened, and the power that comes with it.
That's deep.
Funny side note, have you ever seen someone break a fish? It's real gross. Fish are not meant to be broken.
Are you telling me you just grabbed a halibut and ripped it into pieces?
Kind of, but well, I think it was a pike, maybe a cod. Really, I don't know fish. Before I started following Jesus, I was just a scribe.
What is that? Some kind of great warrior?
No, I wrote things down. You know, like meetings, historical stuff, letters people wanted to send. And then I made copies of my writing. Lots of copies. I got a lot of hand cramps.
You know, I'm a writer too.
Yeah. Do you get hand cramps too?
No, I write plays, and I have someone else make the sides.
The what?
The sides, it's what the actors use. It has all the lines and cues on them.
They don't just get the script?
No, you know how long it would take to copy for each character? No one has the time for that.
Tell me about it. Once Matthew found out that I used to be a scribe, he keeps asking me to write stuff down for him, like the stuff Jesus said and did. He even made me write down Jesus's lineage. So many begats, I got sick of writing begat Abraham, begat Isaac, begat Jacob, begat Judah, and so on and so on and so on.
Wait, I know that begetting.
So do I.
You wrote the book of Matthew?
I wrote what now?
The book of Matthew, the first book of the New Testament of the Bible that details Jesus' birth, his life, and his, well, other things?
His miracles?
Yes,
His teachings?
that too.
I feel like I'm missing something here.
It goes around, trust me.
Wait. Do I write about his death?
Yeah, that's in there.
I wrote about Jesus' death. How did it happen?
We don't really need to get into that.
Why not? You told me how Hitler dies.
And how President Lincoln died.
And Shakespeare, ugh. Why shouldn't you tell him how Jesus dies?
Fine. He's crucified by the people he was sent to reach.
Wow. I mean, I knew from his teaching that he had to die for our sins, but crucifixion, I did not expect that.
And that's after one of his disciples rats him out to the Pharisees.
Who betrays the Son of God?
I think it's best if we don't tell you.
No, tell me.
It's Judas.
Well, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, if someone was going to betray Jesus, it should be Judas. He deserves it.
Deserves to betray someone. Wow, you must think really little of this guy.
No, not at all. But things have to happen the way they happen. If Jesus is to be betrayed and Judas is to do it, then so be it. We cannot change what is to come any more than we can change the time we are to exist.
So even with this knowledge, you wouldn't go back and change things?
It's not for me to change. If all of you live in a world where Jesus was betrayed and crucified, then there's nothing I can do to prevent that. It has, and therefore must happen.
But you could allow all of us to live in a world where Jesus lived longer and spread his message further.
You don't understand. There's nothing I could do to stop the death of Christ. As there is, nothing any of you could do to stop the deaths of those you mentioned. That of William Shakespeare, of Abraham Lincoln, of Adolf Hitler, or even your Grand Admiral Anthony Marie de Bruyn.
The Grand Admiral isn't dead.
But one day he will be.
Okay, no one said anything about the Grand Admiral. How does he know about this?
I don't know.
And even with prior knowledge, you couldn't stop it. We are all chased by time. Minutes, hours, weeks, months, years. constantly renewing and running out at the same time. We beg for more time, but we still don't know how to use it. Our time is so short, basically blink of an eye. And what can be accomplished in such a short time?
I don't know. What?
Everything. We're born, grow, learn, become better or worse, sometimes both. We find love, raise families, pass on our beliefs and ideas. We try to leave a mark on this world so we won't be forgotten. Some will grow old, others won't. And there will even be some who don't get a chance to do any of it. But inevitably, the blink ends, and everyone, the very young, the very old, the young, the old, and all those in the middle will be done. So much can be done in a blink. Wondrous, fantastic things, all in our time.
I feel like time means something else to you than to us.
No. Your definition may be different, but it all means the same. Our time is the time we have. Our blink, however long or short it may be, that's our time. Our time to live, our time to exist, our time to be remembered or forgotten. Time does not apparently remember me, as none of you have heard of me, but my scribing has gone on, hopefully to help and influence people. Credit is meaningless. It's the results that matter.
You really are completely unaffected by any of the information we've given you.
Not in the slightest. Once while walking between towns, I was talking to Jesus, as I am able to sometimes. And he told me something I found very important just a few minutes ago.
What's that?
If you ever find yourself in a coffee shop, waiting for Peter, just get the water. The coffee won't agree with you.
That's a joke, right?
No, it's the truth. Jesus is very perceptive.
Well, did he tell you what's the outcome of your meeting with Peter would be?
No, he didn't.
That seems weird that he would tell you about the coffee and not the meeting.
Well, I never asked him about the meeting. I did ask him about the coffee. He's been here before.
Not when I was working. I would have remembered that.
Tell me something. If you're from biblical times, how did you know I was waiting for the Grand Admiral?
Oh, it's really simple, actually.
Well,
He ran into me when I was going into the Starbucks down the street. He's very polite, helped me up, and he said he couldn't stay and chat. He had to discuss strategy over coffee. Then he proceeded to go into the Starbucks.
that would make sense. He loves Starbucks.
Ah, who doesn't?
If you love Starbucks, why didn't you go there?
Too many people. Not a place to really get work done or have a discussion. You need some quiet little shop that's not a lot of people go to.
Yeah, that's why Goebbels picked this spot.
Close to the theater.
You all still owe me for your drinks.
So I should go up and meet with the Admiral. He's probably wondering where I am.
Not really. He's enjoying his grande soy latte with extra foam. He probably won't even realize you're late.
You really truly believe that this Jesus and God character are better than the dog cat bear?
Yes. Because a dog-cat bear, regardless of how many heads it has, is a very stupid thing to put one's faith in. And I come from a time where people worship rocks.
What kind of rocks?
Some worship a large rock, others a small rock. They never see eye to eye because the size of the rock is apparently important. I don't know how or why, but it is. And I still think a dog-cat bear is stupider than people going to war over their right to worship various sizes of rocks.
I see your point. Possibly 2 points.
Good. Most wars are fought over stupid things. This knowledge won't stop wars, it's just a fact. Freedom and tyranny to one person is different than freedom and tyranny to another. Which version is better, you may never know, but people will always believe that their large rock is better than someone else's small rock, and vice versa. When in the end, they're both just rocks.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you all, but I have a galactic president to overthrow because my rock is better than hers.
Did she get the point of what you said, or am I missing something?
Can't both be true?
Yes, yes, it can.
Anyone else need anything to drink?
Nine. I've had all the coffee I can handle. If Goebbels shows up, tell him he can reschedule. I mean, what's the worst that can happen if Hitler decides to invade Russia in the winter? If it happens, it happens. It's meant to happen. So be it. Nothing I can do to change anything.
So, what are the odds
What?
that all of us would have coffee dates scheduled on this day and this place so we'd all run into each other?
It is as it should be.
You mean this was supposed to happen?
Has it happened?
Well, it clearly has happened.
Then it was meant to occur. Even if it wasn't meant to occur, then we would have walked into different coffee shops today. Even our friend who went to the wrong coffee shop was actually meant to come to this coffee shop.
How do you know that?
Well, because she was here.
Come on, even I saw that one coming.
So what's next?
I don't know. Each of our blinks continues. You go to your performance tonight, and a moment of history will occur. And he will go write his play that will be performed for years to come.
Yeah, but with a different person's name on it.
But it's unimportant. And I will go and continue my scribing, now that you've told me what becomes of my writing. I'm thinking red,
Red, for what?
for Jesus' words, to set them off from the rest of the words that a book must contain.
I mean, I don't think we can do red letters right now.
Not now, but one day. One day it will happen. One day someone will look at my work and say, Jesus' words should be in red. Just like that. It'll happen. I know it will.
So do I.
One doesn't need to venture to the future to know how the future will go. All you need to do is dream, and the future will present itself in glorious images and wonderful technicolor.
I really should go see what's taking John Wilkes Booth. He's normally not this late, and I guess if what's meant to happen is going to happen, I'll play my part to perfection.
Yes. You will be playing your part in this private theater troupe, a troupe of history.
You're right. And just so I know what happens to John Wilkes Booth, just so I know, what happens to John Wilkes Booth after he shoots Lincoln?
He's going to burn to death in a barn.
Good. That should be pleasant for him.
So, I guess that just leaves me and you.
And me.
Right, and you, but I think we all know what happens next.
You wish for me to give an excuse about why my meeting is no longer important and leave.
Well, yes.
Why?
So we can end this.
It will end as it's supposed to.
Well, I think it's supposed to end with me and her, like when we started.
Ah, for balance and form.
Yes, that and I've been holding the peace since the German entered.
The first or the second time?
Who remembers? All I know is that my bladder's going to burst, and I don't want to find out what the doctors cut off when that happens.
Then you should go to the restroom.
You know what? Fine. I will.
It is time for me to go.
What about your meeting with Peter?
It was never as important as what happened here, and I'm sure I know where he is. Fishermen tend to go fishing when trouble arises.
Are you sure about that?
I am.
What a weird day.
Allison wipes down the bar as the lights begin to dim, when suddenly Mel quickly enters from the left and the lights return to full.
He's gone? Oh, good. Now we're Shakespeare. I've been waiting all day.
Are you sure you were supposed to meet him today?
He told me on Thursday.
It's Wednesday.
Well, that explains a lot. Well, I've got my quill. How did I get my days wrong?
because it was supposed to happen. You know, I've been trying to figure it out. Has all of this been a comedy or a tragedy?
Well, did anyone die?
I mean, we're all gonna die eventually.
And it doesn't seem like anyone's getting married.
The door suddenly opens, and a bride and groom enter as they are in wedding gown and tuxedo respectively. Mel's jaw drops.
Excuse me, is there a justice of the peace here?
Or anyone who's certified to marry us?
It's a comedy!